on her face.
Even if you think that black people are monkeys and actual gorillas.
Is she the darkest woman in America?
This is minstrel makeup.
They should have just called us monkeys.
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back. So my usual disclaimer, please, this video is strictly for educational purposes. Do not go searching out anybody that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comment, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. So today we are going to be talking about another makeup brand that have gotten black people enraged again. You guys, at this point it keeps happening. Anyway, I do not know exactly how this drama started, but I came across a couple of videos by some really beautiful melanated queens who were reviewing a particular foundation shade, and they didn't have anything really nice to say about the foundation. So I'm just going to go right ahead and play their videos.
Which side of my face is the black face paint or the Youthforia foundation? You can't tell. You know why? Tar in a bottle. This is jet black face paint, and this is the darkest shade of the Youthforia Date Night foundation. This is black face paint. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. A few months ago, I tried the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is what it looked like on me. I'm gonna apply some of the foundation on this side of my face so you guys can see. Let's just go ahead and try to blend this out, you guys. Enough. Who is that color? I'm gonna wipe this off and let me put the paint all over my face. I'm literally just going in with the face paint. We're gonna do some painting, and let me just go ahead and blend it out with the brush. This is the darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation. This is black face paint. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, maybe my brand is not made for complexion. I'm gonna squeeze a pump of this on my forehead just right out the bottle so you guys can see that I'm literally not joking. We're gonna do a big blend of this, you guys. When we say that we want you guys to make shades for us, we don't mean to go to the lab and ask for minstrel show black. What we mean is to take the browns that you have made, create undertones, and do what you need to do in the lab so it's a darker shade of brown. This is the darkest shade, shade 600, and as you guys can see in the bottle, literally jet black. The shade right next to it, shade 590. This is what it looks like in the bottle. Here is shade 600. You guys, there could be like 10 more shades in between these two shades. In addition to that, when we go to the actual website and we look at the swatch, not only is the swatch online literally jet black, there's literally only 4 or 5 shades for people that actually have dark complexions. Not really for black people, for being honest. Not only in 2024 is this so disgusting and disrespectful, but this needs to be pulled off the shelves. This is the second to darkest shade of the Youthforia foundation, shade 590. Let's try it. We're gonna go in with a pretty good pump. Clean brush, let's go blend this out. This is shade 590. This is shade 600. How on earth did we go from this shade to this shade? There's no undertone, no depth, no dimension, and that's a problem. It goes far beyond it just being damn near black. I feel like we could have sat down with 590 a little bit longer, tweaked some undertones, added some more depth, added some more range, added a few more shades, and it would have ate. All that being said, obviously there are darker people than me. That was never something that I argued. However, I know that when it comes to the end of the spectrum of tone and color and complexion, I am of one of the darkest. I'm comparing the shade to black face paint because the shade literally lacks color at all because it's flat. It would not complement any skin tone, let alone the one that they're marketing it for. As you can see in these pictures, these don't even match the model that they're putting it on. Prior to that, the swatch page with all the models literally just had a blank swatch of shade 600, and all of the other shades had models. So was this shade even tested on dark skin, or did you just lazily put it out there? When I thought it couldn't get worse, the model that she actually decided to put on there, she street casted in Dubai, swatched both of the foundations on this model, and of course the shades didn't match because 590 was too warm and 600 was literally black. And then she went to go get pictures from a Passport Center photo booth and used that picture as a swatch reference. So
this should be a crime. This is what we get when we ask to be included in the beauty industry. Because there's no way in 2024 we are getting this. They just slap it in our face saying, if you want a darkest shade, there you go. Here's the black paint for your face. This is truly a crime. We as South Sudanese, we are one of the darkest people on this planet. And if you cannot find anyone among us to match this shade, just know this is not a foundation, neither a skin tint. And this is just a big shame. I am so glad that I declined 4 months ago when they reached out to me asking if I can collaborate with them. It's one thing to make a mistake once, but once you make it twice, it's just a slap in the face. Have we not learned anything?
So after watching that, yeah, let me explain. So there's this brand called Euphoria, as you guys already gathered, that's the name of the makeup brand. And I believe it was their plan to probably make the darkest shade of foundation ever, because as you could see in this video,
yesterday I told you guys how stressed I was because we couldn't find a model for the darkest shade of Euphoria foundation. For reference, this is Euphoria's darkest shade versus Fenty's.
yeah, from that video, you can see that they had to compare their darkest shade of foundation, which they created, to other darker shades from other brands that they used as reference, right? So I believe they were trying to make a darker shade or the darkest shade possible out there. And yeah, I think they missed the mark, because what is this? That foundation does not look brown in any way, shape or form. It looks like black paint. Yes, and people are calling them out for being shady and having no regard for black women, for thinking that black people look that way. People have described the foundation as shoe polish. They've described the foundation as black face paint, and black women actually feel slighted by this brand for creating that shade and expecting black people to just swallow it up and be grateful that they are being included. Now, when I was doing my research, I found out that this brand has actually been called out by black people sometime last year, I think in October, when they wanted to launch their foundation shades. And of course, they were called out by black people for lack of inclusivity and diversity, because they didn't have enough dark shades. And of course, the owner of the brand came out and gave a kind of apology that black people were not having. It's safe to say this brand were already in black people's black books. And then they came out and did this, and it's just an extra slap on the face. So first of all, black people called them out for lack of diversity, and then they went ahead and did this. Like, okay, you want a dark shade? Okay, now take this charcoal black shoe polish, you monkey. I didn't say that. I heard someone say that in one of the stitches that I watched. So one more thing that made it even look extra intentional and extra shady was the fact that the owner of the brand dropped this video on their page.
Yesterday, I told you guys how stressed I was because we couldn't find a model for the darkest shade of Euphoria foundation. For reference, this is Euphoria's darkest shade versus Fenty's. We asked modeling agents, even did a casting call with real people. Still haven't found a model for the darkest shade of Euphoria foundation. Now I've resorted to street casting on the other side of the world. I met Alvin and Jackson at a cafe. They were so sweet. They agreed to model the darkest shade of Euphoria foundation for us. With just a few days to launch, I don't have time to do a full photo shoot. So I'm just recording content at a Starbucks. Found a passport photo booth at the mall. It's kind of like in the same style that we would do for our photo shoots anyway. So it kind of worked. I was acting as a makeup artist on set. My husband was my production assistant. I'm just acting as creative director behind the camera. Foundation match was so good. Both only have a half a face of Euphoria foundation. They were both so sweet. I cannot wait for you guys to see the final result. But now the biggest question, can we get our passport photo booth photo look just as good? Just a few days to launch.
So apparently they had created this shade, and they were now looking for a human being who was going to match that shade, and they literally could not find anybody. And why would they find anybody? Because that foundation is black, and black people, no matter how dark we are a shade of brown. So if you create a black face paint, calling it a foundation, and you expect black people to applaud you for creating the darkest shade of foundation, then you have another thing coming. Anyway, at this point, I'm just going to go right ahead and play people's stitches to this whole situation.
I promise you, this foundation shade I'm about to show you is worse than any foundation shade scandal you have ever seen. When I show you this foundation, you are going to feel like you are being hate crimed. Before I show you what I witnessed today in Ulta, let me give you some context, because it's worse with the context. This makeup brand was recently bashed for not having a shade inclusive foundation. This brand is owned by a person of color, not a black person. Their excuse as to why they don't have dark enough shades was wanted to get it right before we release them. We've been working so hard on that's why we're not releasing them with the lighter shades, because we want to make sure they're perfect. You all heard that excuse, nothing new. Let me show you what they wanted to make sure was perfect. These are the last two shades in the Euphoria foundation. What is that? Is literal face paint. Is this not a hate crime? Black people are not black. We come in shades of brown. Those are the two darkest, I'm yelling. Those are the two darkest shades. The darkest person that you know has an undertone. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I said, you know what? Maybe, actually, I didn't give them the benefit of the doubt. I just wanted to look and talk my shit. Went to go look for someone darker who has tried this foundation. As you can see, this influencer is very dark. I will tag her. I don't want to butcher her name. This is her wearing the foundation. That's black face paint. That's the contrast on her skin. I need to see Gloria try this foundation. They should have just called us monkeys. If the actual shade wasn't bad enough, let me show you the shade right before it. This is the shade right before that black face paint shade. Why would the next shade after that be that? Like, this is more insulting than not carrying our shade in the first place. For you to put literal black face paint on the market and give that to black women, like, here, damn, take you monkey. Original excuse they gave for not being shade inclusive and having a shade dark enough for black women was that they were taking so long to develop them because they wanted them to be perfect. So according to Euphoria, this is the perfect shade for black women that they took so long to develop. Call me a monkey and go.
Even if you think that black people are monkeys and actual gorillas, like literally monstrous gorillas, gorillas are not even black. This is black. This is actual black. This is the color scheme of a gorilla. No living thing on the planet Earth is black. Youthforia is just a racist company that wanted to throw it in the faces of black people. It's that simple. Stop saying you know someone who's black. Stop saying you know somebody who matches that color. No, you don't. I promise you, you don't. No living thing is that color. Even if your so-called friend is the darkest person to have ever existed in the history of mankind, your friend is not darker than a silverback gorilla. And even a gorilla does not fit that shade. If you put that foundation on a literal gorilla, it wouldn't even work. There is no human being who fits that shade because that shade was not made for a human being. Youthforia intentionally made that shade jet black on purpose, knowing that it would not fit anybody just to make a statement. They said, y'all want inclusion? Y'all want black? We'll give you black. Here's black. Now fuck off. That's the statement they were making. So for the people defending this, especially the black people defending this, you are an embarrassment.
There are not any skins that are this color anymore than there are any skins that are that color. We might use the terms black and white to describe skin color, but those words are inaccurate. This is the flesh tone fan, and it shows every possible skin color that exists. And the darkest, deepest skins that we come across are this. They are a blue and blue-violet undertone. Like this. We need to do better, and brands need to do better.
Which side of my face is the black face paint or the Youthforia foundation? T, you can't tell.
I wanted y'all to see something first before folks start gaslighting her and other black creators in the comments. So this is one of Youthforia's latest foundations. If you look here at the bottom of the ingredient list, you'll notice 3 different colors. Stay with me now. The CI stands for color index, and it basically represents titanium white, red, and yellow iron oxides. Pretty much the only colors you need to make a lighter shade of foundation. But then if we look at their darkest shade, the ingredient list tells a different story. Here, there's only one pigment, CI77499, which is just black iron oxide. No other colorants. This foundation literally only has pure black pigment. Here's a close-up if you missed it the first time. And before folks say, oh, maybe it's meant as a mixing pigment, that makes no sense. Anyone who's ever taken an art class will tell you that black is a terrible pigment to mix with, because it just makes things gray and muddy. And skin tones typically have some combination of eumelanin and pheomelanin. The pheomelanin is where we get the red and yellow undertones. And this problem is so avoidable. She literally could have used NARS or Fenty foundation shades as a benchmark. This brand does not care about us.
This is going down for me for sure as the biggest inclusivity stain on our community in 2024. Euphoria is a masterclass of what not to do when trying to be inclusive. Our good friend Blair sent us Gloria's video last night right before we went to bed. And our first thought was, this can't be happening again. It's a shade range that's unfortunately missed the mark on inclusivity. This is really disappointing. And then I woke up this morning and I saw Javon's video.
This foundation literally only has pure black pigment.
My deepest, darkest fear came to life. I am a beauty product developer and I've been in those rooms where you're formulating the darkest shade. I've done this many times at the mass market level, at the prestige level, facilities where the people that are working on darker tones at the request of the brands that they're working with have never actually seen a human of color. Put that color onto human skin. Some of these people have only ever had the opportunity to work on dark, like plastic swatches. I've worked at companies that are international global companies that have flown out humans of color to avoid this exact type of situation. I really don't think they matched it to a human tone during the development process. They would have seen the lack of nuance that is required to bring a complexion shade to life. Product development is centered around intention. You need representation inside those labs to make sure that you can develop the shade ranges that you need if you're not going to bring in outside support. I saw that foundation compared side by side to black pigment. I said, I think that the team at Euphoria wanted to bring the darkest foundation shade to market, as dark as possible, to avoid exactly what's happening right now. But they took that extreme too far. You need to be thorough. You need to be using real human skin. It is a better way to do this. It really is unacceptable to launch a foundation that doesn't have any acknowledgement of tonality on skin.
It's safe to say she missed the mark on this launch.
She definitely missed the mark on this launch.
Like, why would you create a foundation shade that's not going to match anyone? It's so weird.
Because that foundation shade is not actually for anyone with dark skin. It in fact exists for the brand to say that their entire makeup line is not actually for anyone with dark skin. They might as well have named the damn shade shoe polish. This shade was released purely out of spite and racism. You cannot convince me that there weren't at least, probably way more, at least 3 people at the absolute highest level in this company who fully intended this shade to be a joke about minstrel shows. Not only are they saying, hey, black women, our line's not for you, but they're also saying, even when we approximate your skin tone, it's actually for white people to then be part of the extremely long and horrific history of painting themselves pitch fucking black to mock your entire race. It's shoe polish. That was their intention. This is not a legitimate foundation shade. It is mockery in response to being called out for trying to make a whites-only makeup brand in 2024.
Is she the darkest woman in America? Because I don't see her in the Guinness Book of World Records. But see, if I say it like that, that sounds a little racist, don't it? What y'all are telling me on the internet is that nobody this shade range of the Euphoria deserves to wear makeup. That's what y'all are saying. And y'all are trying to make it seem as though Euphoria should just completely take it out. If she was the darkest woman here in America, I would need to see her in the Guinness Book of World Records. That way we, as a group, can collectively identify what is considered the darkest shade in skin. Do we need to do it like that? Because if we do it like that, y'all are going to be, oh my God, they're so racist. Why would they put that in the Guinness Book of World Records? Y'all need to stop acting so damn entitled here. So you mean to tell me them coming out with this color, that means we shouldn't include those that are that color? So you trying to tell this person who has those color skin tones here that they're a walking racist? This whole ordeal here would have been racist if it was a white woman testing out these colors, because then we're going to automatically say, oh girl, you're in blackface. But then at the same time, there can be a lot of versatility that can be used with this shade range. That color can be a really good color to put moles on somebody's face. Like someone could probably put that foundation on their eyelids and give us a real cunt eyeshadow look. I would outline it on my lip to give me like a lip liner, but nobody has done it yet. Like y'all don't think of different ways to use things. Y'all are just so fixated on one thing. Let's step out of America. Better yet, let's step out of social media. Y'all really don't see symbolism as y'all go out in the world. Like, have y'all ever noticed that y'all will see some mannequins that are just pitch black? Because there's actually people that are pitch black. And when y'all watch some of these international fashion shows, y'all will see there are darker people than her. Literally. Okay? Because I don't know what it is. Europeans, they have this obsession with a pigment like that because it makes things pop out more. Now, y'all try to say, well, why don't they make like a pure white? Because these white people, they're not pure white. If you touch a white person, y'all will see their red undertones pop out. At the end of the day, we all bleed red. whether I'm black, white, mixed, Indian, we all got red blood, right? And the closest color to red or within is white. I really feel like if they were to ban social media for a week or two and y'all were to step out into the real world, y'all will see so much. Or maybe some of y'all need to get out of America and see who all out here. America is like a crash dummy to these foreigners. These foreigners, they pretty much control America. They tell America what to produce, where to produce it, and how to do it. And if it works well in America, we'll go ahead and bring it down to the foreign countries. So the Europeans, they're trying to sell this to the Africans. Okay, like y'all be on here thinking this is for y'all in America. No, I don't know. For someone who gets her nails done, I can definitely see there's a difference in the colors, you know?
I literally do not know what to say. I think this is probably one of the downsides to us calling ourselves black people, because yes, we call ourselves black people, but we are actually not black in our skin color. We are different shades of brown as black people, and the fact that another person of color will literally do this to me is very disrespectful. And I don't know how, as the owner of a brand, you have the resources, you should be able to hire professionals and all of that and be able to give you the best, and this is what you come up with. And kudos to the palm color people, the non-black people, and even the artists and the professionals, people who are very vast in color theory, that have come out to talk about why this foundation is not even supposed to be a foundation, because there's lack of undertone. That is why when you mix it with any other shade, it gives you a gray undertone, which no human basically can match up to that. And it is funny how people are in the comment section trying to gaslight black people, talking about how, oh, if it's not your shade, then it's definitely going to fit someone else out there. You don't have to come out and bash the brand. And people trying to make it look like, oh, they are really black people who are that shade. I do not believe that there's any black person walking the surface of the earth who is actually black. I'm not talking about a deep shade of brown. I'm talking about the color black. And even the South Sudanese people, who are one of the darkest people on earth, have come out. Like, we have some of them who are beauty influencers that have come out to try out this foundation, and it does not work for any of them.
As a Sudanese dark-skinned woman who has grown up around other Sudanese dark-skinned people, I've never known anybody that has pitch black skin with pitch black undertones. And to save you guys some time, I could already tell you now, you also don't know anybody that has pitch black skin with pitch black undertones. When you look at dark-skinned people, what do you see when you look at them? Because clearly you don't see our varying ranges of undertones.
Someone who knows better, please let me know in the comment section. I thought if you were formulating something like a foundation, you're probably going to get people and then use them as a shade reference for the foundation that you want to create, like actual people, and not the other way around. You don't create a foundation and begin to look for a human being who it fits, especially when, in quotes, it's a foundation shade that is not already in the market. It's just like me creating maybe a green foundation and looking for a green human being that is going to fit. It doesn't make sense. Obviously, they got it wrong from the start. And something else that even occurred to me is, as a business person, as a brand owner that intends to make money, right? If you create a product and you do not find someone who that product is suitable for, you do your research, you cannot find someone who's going to buy that product. Is it a smart move to actually go ahead to release this product? Is the whole point of you doing this not to find someone who needs your product so that they can buy your product and you can make money? But you created a foundation that you could not find someone who needs that foundation because it is not anyone's shade, and you went ahead to release it. If they really wanted to have black customers, if they really wanted to create a product for black people that black people actually needed, that they will have use for and actually patronize and purchase this product, why did they not make all the other shades of dark brown that we can easily find a lot of black people fall into that shade? So they did not bother to make shades that can easily be purchased by black people because they are within that shade range. They wanted to make a shade that was far off at the extreme, practically black, where even they could not find a model. So they're not even trying to sell and make money, neither are they trying to even increase their black audience. That should tell us something. So if they really wanted to expand their shade range for black people, if they really wanted to increase their black audience and their black customers, there were 1,000 1,001 other dark brown shades of foundation that they could have created, but they chose to create a shade that they couldn't even find a model for. They couldn't find a living black person that shade was suitable for.
Just look at, does that match? Are y'all, this is crazy. Are you serious? Just look at that. Does that match?
In my opinion, they put minimal effort and it is just a slap on the face to black people. And yes, I know I've said before in one of my other videos that we need to ignore these brands that don't really care about us and support brands that include us and care about diversity. Yes, we have a lot of brands that do that already, but I think it is also important for us to call out people who flat out disrespect black people by doing something like this, because a lot of people are even saying this whole situation shows that this brand is ready to desist because you're literally giving people black face paint to mock black people. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's have a discussion over there. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.